GTA 6 has a chance to correct the franchise's terrible attitude towards representing the LGBTQ community. And this is not my wish, but the world's largest and most influential LGBTQ plus minus led media brand, as they call themselves. They expressed their hopes in an article, and yes, I know it's quite old, but the second trailer is due out soon, so it'll be easy to collect views, especially with a headline like mine, which is largely non-clickbait, because there are actual reasons to believe that Rockstar will release their first woke game. So will we really see Grand Theft Auto, The Ballad of Gay Lucia next year? Well, maybe. GTA 5 was released 11 years ago, so it hasn't yet had time to get into the progressive woke modernization of the entertainment industry. Unlike GTA 6, which was launched in development just as major studios began to include woke elements in their games, such as the latest Mass Effect, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, or Dragon Age. Inclusiveness. Okay, we can't deny the fact that GTA 6 is already a bit of a woke game, at least that it will be the first game in the series where the main protagonist will be a woman. We have many examples where the female protagonist has been very successful, and I think that this will not be a problem for GTA 6, especially considering that Rockstar is clearly not a progressive woke studio like Ubisoft or EA. Rockstar has long been recognized as the last hope of the gaming industry, and not only because their games are many times better than other AAA projects of the giants of gaming. Gamers respect Rockstar because it is perhaps the only studio that does not add a political agenda to its game to support the alphabet community. And it is the only studio that is not afraid to ridicule issues of race, culture, and people of non-traditional orientation with sharp comments.
And out homosexuals in a place that's hot as the sun and swarming with disease-carrying insects.
It sounds encouraging, and you can already prepare $100 for a pre-order without fear that you will be playing another Sweet Baby Inc. creation. But if you think so, you're wrong. Behind the scenes of GTA 6 development, behind the closed doors of Take-Two shareholders, unsuspecting fans who have been waiting for a new game for years, Rockstar, the only bright spot in the rainbow darkness, has also become a woke studio, and you haven't even noticed it. It all started in the summer of 2020 when Rockstar Games canceled the Cops and Crooks expansion pack for GTA Online. That's when a policeman killed George Floyd. Cops and Crooks was a reimagining of a children's game where players team up with good guys and bad guys. But the company's management was concerned about how this narrative might be interpreted in times of heightened skepticism and distrust of the American police. So they decided not to add fuel to the fire, which doesn't really sound like the good old Rockstar. However, this was only the first of further politically sensitive steps by the studio. After that, for some reason, the studio removed transphobic jokes from the latest console release, GTA 5, and significantly reduced the gender pay gap. And according to some insiders, the developers themselves have begun to be cautious about jokes about marginalized groups. I don't know about you, but this sounds a little strange for a company whose best-selling game, GTA 5, is a satirical depiction of America in which you play as gangsters who kill civilians and where women are mostly depicted as sexual objects. GTA 5 was a nihilistic parody that hurled insults at everything from right-wing radio hosts to liberal politicians. Inside the company, the tone was not much different. Rockstar employees described a workplace culture full of drinking, fighting, and excursions to strip clubs. In addition, a former employee described the company as a boys' club, transformed into a real company. Of course, all of this does not fit into today's progressive world. So what do we have now? An atypical protagonist, a Latina woman, the transformation of a company that is becoming progressive, producing LGBT merchandise, and most importantly, the desire of the audience to make the new GTA more gay. This is stated by Pink News, traditionally the largest resource for non-traditional orientations. They believe that the game series has suffered from a damning lack of queer inclusivity and a prevalence of offensive LGBTQ+ stereotypes, leaving the franchise's legions of LGBTQ+ fans out in the cold. So, I started looking for these legions of fans, which, to my surprise, they actually do exist. A Reddit user, who apparently lived up to his nickname, believes that the main characters in GTA 6 should be queer to better represent all GTA fans. Not gonna lie, I would understand if this was about Fortnite, but making the protagonist queer just because some fans are queer sounds as weird as not making him a gangster because not all players are gangsters in real life. Another queer GTA fan expects that GTA 6 will embrace the love of the LGBTQ+ community, and also hopes for a groundbreaking mechanic in gaming that allows gender fluids to change gender mid-game instantly. A new level of graphics, realistic physics, and an open world of unprecedented proportions. Players don't need all of that. We need to be able to cut off our character's penis during the game. But yes, not gonna lie, that would be kind of fun. And maybe the criticism from a few queers on the internet and an LGBT resource doesn't make you think that Rockstar can actually change the vectors of its narratives. Let's go back to 2022 when I personally thought that GTA 6 would be a gay game. We can all see how a small consulting company, whose name shall remain nameless, was able to change the entire industry. Millions of fans are refusing to play their favorite franchises. Studios are losing hundreds of millions of dollars and closing down. And all because a few LGBT people simply consult developers. It seems that Rockstar, who value their projects and their fans, would never use the services of such consulting companies. And would never change anything in their game just because a few gay people who have united in a small community on the internet asked them to do so. Right? You would be very wrong. In 2022, a very small group sent a letter to Rockstar. In this letter, a group of hundreds of LGBTQ+ gaming professionals believes that Rockstar is purposefully creating certain stereotypes about trans and gender diverse people so that players will feel disgusted by them and enjoy killing them. In this letter, OMG, as this gay company calls itself, took into account that in 2020, more than 350 transgender people were killed. Interestingly enough, while around 120,000 people died in military conflicts globally that same year, OMG did not send any letters calling to ban Call of Duty. Also, in this letter, these guys, or girls, or better, they, refer to an article by Carolyn Petit, a transgender man who, on the Kotaku website and where else, expressed the opinion that the new version of GTA 5, which at that time was being prepared for release on the next generation consoles, should address the issue of transphobia. According to Carolyn Petit, transphobia was the fact that transgender people in the game were depicted with bright makeup and noticeable penis bulges, which was ridiculous and repulsive, thus making players kill them. However, Carolyn's statement is itself transphobic. If transgender people were depicted in GTA as ordinary people, they would be indistinguishable. And then LGBT resources would complain that there are no LGBT representatives in the game. And if transgender people could not be killed in the game, unlike other NPCs, it would be real discrimination against a certain group of people. However, Carolyn didn't think so, and wished that Rockstar would reconsider its own ill-advised creative decisions of the past. This article inspired OMG, who wrote the letter I mentioned earlier, calling for the removal of all jokes about trans and gender diverse people, leaving jokes about everyone else because they don't give a fuck about them. They even offered their services to help GTA become more tolerant. And the amazing thing is, it worked. A year later, when GTA 5 was released on the new generation of consoles, all the content that the LGBT community found offensive was cut out. And if you think we got rid of just a few trans jokes, you are very wrong. We got rid of a company that used satire for every social aspect of our lives, that was not afraid to make jokes about any of the taboo topics. And it wasn't something like when Sweet Baby Inc. helped to complete Fail Concord, even though its budget might have been bigger than GTA 5. We are saying that it was solely Rockstar's decision to make the game more tolerant. It's not that Rockstar often listens to players or any publications. If it did, at least we would have seen RDR2 in 60 frames on console a long time ago. But then, 2 years ago, solely due to a request of several members of the LGBT community, they censored their own game. Now, the words of insiders say that the atmosphere inside Rockstar is becoming more and more tolerant, and no longer seems so strained in clickbait. It may be too early to say that GTA 6 will have LGBT propaganda, but we can definitely say that we will no longer see the permissiveness of the studio that we loved so much.